Good evening and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids pregame show. There is so much to talk about this week, from a returning Rapids player to the 0-4 start, how the Rapids can turn this one around, and of course it is our National Truth and Reconciliation game. We're going to talk about that as well. Before I lay anything else out, I think it's only appropriate to address this. As we gather here today, we recognize the importance of truth and reconciliation in our communities. It's a journey towards understanding, healing, and unity. By acknowledging our past and honoring the stories of those who came before us, we lay the foundation of a brighter future. Let's come together not only as fans, but as advocates for compassion and respect. With that said, we have lots to discuss, and we will not forget such an important day. So I want to start off first. It is the fifth game of the Grand Falls Rapids season. They are looking to turn an 0-4 start into a 1-4 start. The Campbellton Tigers obviously in town to face off against the Rapids. And this is a huge game because not only is it a division rival game, but this is one where they really have to step up and start to really prove it. Now, I know that there has been a lot of frustration around the community. People are already writing them off. Here's a couple of reasons why you shouldn't do that. This is a new team. Keep in mind, there are vets that are returning, but for the most part, 75% of this team is all new players that are coming in. So you have to allow them time to gel. It's just the way that they're going to build up that chemistry. And we've started to see shades of brightness of what this team can do. You saw in the last game against the West Kent Steamers, they were getting quality chances on net, albeit Ryan Stewart did play an amazing game. But again, this is just an opportunity to learn and to grow from those opportunities that you had in the games before. Fredericton was so close to getting a win. Again, another great game where they really showed how good the chemistry can be, but a little rough around the edges. Now, it's not time to panic quite yet. We're only 5 games into the regular season. There is lots more time to go. So if you think this is the be-all and end-all, it is not. Don't worry. Patience is another thing that you need to have because, like I said, this is a young team. They're still getting their roots, still developing that chemistry, and they need time to grow. As would you in anything that you do in life. You need to have the patience. But the most important thing that you can do in this scenario is cheer the boys on. No matter if you're at home, on the road, they feed off that chemistry, they feed off the energy of the fans, and they feed off of the cheers that are for them and encouraging them to go out there and play their best every game. We saw the first couple of games at home this season, over 1,000 people in the stands, and that is on its own something that motivates them. I was talking to the guys a couple of times, and they said that it's so valuable to have fans in the building, and especially you look at the dynamic shift, right? When COVID happened, which seems oh so long ago, fans couldn't go to the games. But now we're seeing so many more people coming in and supporting the Rapids and just being as loud as you can. So that's another huge thing that you can do to support the boys is make some noise. I want to see this place rocking tonight, and I want to see you backing the Rapids every chance that you get. We're going to make some noise. Now, I want to talk about some of the standouts that we've seen this season so far already. And there's a couple of players that come to mind right off the top of my head. So first off, Braden Campbell. One thing that's noticeable about his game is his speed. Such an incredible dynamic player. He gets those quality shots on goal. He's relentless. And he blows by the defenders a lot of the time. Like, there is so much that can be admired about him. And as he continues to work his way full-time into the lineup, he's an explosive player. He's somebody who just won't give up. So it's oh so valuable to have a player like that in the lineup. especially in your top 6. And while he continues to grow his game, this is going to be a great opportunity against Campbellton tonight for him to really prove himself amongst the other youngsters. Loic Nadeau, and I know a lot of people are agreeing with me on this one. And yes, he's only played 1 game, but you have to look at the takeaways from the game that he played in West Kent. Right out the gate, you saw that he was dialed in, he was ready, he has incredible lateral movement, is very quick around the crease, and his size really helps him do that as well because he covers up a lot of the net. But it's not only just about size. This is about the fact that he can move and he can read the plays very well. So sometimes you'll see goalies who they're standing alone in the crease and their defense has to bail them out sometimes, but he seems to be, so far from what I've seen in the preseason and then now his first game in the regular season, has been absolutely incredible, lights out, and has not allowed a lot of opportunities to get in front of the net or behind it at all. So you look at the amount of pressure that he was under in the preseason, and you look at how well he's performed so far. You look at how dialed in he gets. This is a rare instance where you have 2 very solid goaltenders in Adam LaCour and Loic Nadeau. And this is something that you're going to want to watch as the season goes on, because it may seem like it's a bit of a slow start for them, but they too can develop that chemistry. That's what you really want to keep in mind too. It's not just the forwards and the defensemen that need to develop that chemistry. It's the goaltenders as well. And I think that's something that goes untalked about quite a bit, is the fact that just because you're the starter or the backup doesn't mean that you can't have any chemistry, because there is so much that those two need to talk about in terms of whether it's getting better, in terms of replacing each other in the net. There's so much in those conversations that goes on. So those two are building up their chemistry as well. Now, another player who I think has noticeably stood out and is one of the best penalty killers on this team, one of the best defensive defensemen on this team, is Tyrell Mulrooney. And I'll use a couple of examples from Fredericton and West Kent both. The Rapids are killing a penalty. He gets right back in front of the crease. He's the first man back, always blocking those shots. And that's something that, again, is very, very hard to come by in a young player like him. So you look at his defensive stats, or his defensive abilities, rather. He's always getting back and blocking those shots. On the power play, he's incredible as well, getting those quality shots on net from the blue line and keeping his puck control as well. I want to talk about his puck control because, again, it's very little that you get to see a guy with such puck control that he can carry it away from the opposing team and not let them get at it. Like you look at when you're along the boards, the opposing team's trying to check you, trying to get the puck off of you. He's able to use that movement and that quickness to get the puck away from opposing defenders or forwards, and he's able to get those quality shots on goal. So it's all about how you contribute, not just defensively, offensively, on the special teams. It doesn't matter. He is always there every single night, and that's something that I'm very excited about with the defense. There's Will Morrison's been doing it. Marco LeBlanc's been doing it. And the next guy who actually is making his return, and this is going to be something that I know a lot of people are going to be very excited about and have been very excited about, and that is Raphael Denis. Now, he is, again, a guy who you want on your team. He's a vocal leader. He's a guy who has an incredible two-way game, can block those shots, is a power play genius. He had 26 points last year with the Rapids, and just continues to impress. He's a guy, again, if you didn't see Captain's Corner on Balance Radio this earlier this week, he loves this town, and that's something that you want to see as well, is players who love coming in every day and doing their absolute best, and he is just one of those guys who does just that. So very exciting to have Raphael Denis back on the ice. It's such a treat to watch this team play. I know a lot of people may not think it at the moment, but there is so much potential and so much season left. There's going to be a lot of incredible things that this team can do. So don't give up. keep cheering for him, get this place packed, and make some noise, because these guys are going to do just that, dominate the competition. If you keep showing up and if you keep making that loud noise, they will feed off of that. So give them time, pack the building, and do your best as fans to make sure that these guys succeed. Now, with that being said, I want to lead into the next portion of the show. We're continuing on with the Behind the Bench series from the MHL's Coaching Symposium. This interview, Executive Director of College Hockey Inc., Sean Hogan, that was a really interesting chat that I had with him. He talks a lot about what it was like coaching in college, the rivalry between the Arizona State and Arizona University, which is so special. It's very, very cool. And there's so much more that we talked about. After that, you're going to want to listen and stick around for this series, because we have a couple of really big interviews coming up, including Corey Chevry, Gardner McDougall, and the legendary Rick Bowness. So without further ado, I lead you in to the next part of the series with Sean Hogan. Joined by Sean Hogan here, Executive Director of Player Relations for the NCAA. So, Sean, first off, I wanted to thank you very, very much for taking the time to do this today. Now, I wanted to just ask you first, what motivated you to take the position on from being a head coach?
Well, good question. So it's a little bit of a deeper answer than you probably want. I thoroughly enjoyed coaching my entire coaching career. I was coaching at Ohio University and had an opportunity to coach in the World University Games and travel overseas, and had a lot of different experiences with USA Hockey. But at that time, my son was just born, and my wife got a really good opportunity. She was working at Ohio University as an assistant athletic director. So she got an opportunity at Michigan State University to be an assistant athletic director, and it was a great career opportunity for her. Our son had just been born. I'm from Michigan. It got us back closer to family. So I said, yeah, let's jump on that opportunity, and I'll find something. It just happened to coincide with an opportunity at College Hockey Inc. I didn't know anybody at College Hockey Inc. at the time. I applied, went through the process, and was fortunate enough to get the role, and then was in that position for 5 years, and now I'm the executive director of the organization. So I do miss coaching. I love coaching, having that impact on young players, but very excited about to be the executive director of College Hockey Inc.
Now, you coached in Ohio, Arizona, Oakland. Talk a little bit about that. Michigan as well. Yeah. Experiences when you were coaching there.
Yeah, so I was real fortunate to coach at a variety of different levels in a bunch of different places, and that's one of the great things about being a coach. Selecting coaching as your career, is you have the ability to travel and coach in different environments. They were all different levels. Wyoming was unique in the sense that there's less people in the state of Wyoming than the county that I grew up in the Detroit area. But they were passionate about their junior hockey team, and it was a big deal in town, so it made it a lot of fun to coach at that level. And at the University of Arizona, not many people talk about University of Arizona hockey. It's ACHA level. But when we played Arizona State, we'd get 6,000 people in the building. So there's a lot of passionate hockey fan bases all over the country, and different opportunities for coaches to coach at all those levels if you're willing to jump at those opportunities. So for me, coaching provided that life experience, the hockey experience, the ability to coach players of all different levels.
Talk a little bit about that rivalry between Arizona and Arizona State. That's one that's very, very intense, I would imagine.
It was, you know what, it was incredible. It was a ton of fun. Greg Powers started the program at Arizona State, elevated it to NCAA Division I. Quick note on Arizona State, Greg took the program from kind of a fledgling club-level program to the fastest team to ever make the NCAA Division I tournament. So when people think about NCAA hockey at the highest levels, they kind of traditionally think of the blue blood programs, but there's programs all over the U.S. That are doing well, and that's just another example of it.
Now, in terms of players who want to go either the college route or major junior, what are some of the advantages of going to the college route?
Well, there's plenty of advantages for sure. One of the biggest advantages to me is just you're an NHL prospect for longer, right? The average NHL rookie age is close to 23 years old. CHL is an under-20 junior league, right? So you need to be pro-ready at 19 or 20 years old. There are guys that are ready for that, but many players that are not. And college hockey players, you play college hockey at 20, 21, 22 years old while you're earning your degree, and you're a NHL prospect that entire time.
And you've obviously been around the game for quite a while. How has it evolved over the years in your eyes?
So I think one of the biggest differences in college hockey today than maybe, say, 20 years ago is 20 years ago, the NCAA was about 8% of the NHL. Now it's 33% of the NHL. So it's gone from, and if you go back far enough, late 60s, early 70s, there was one former NHL player that played college. It was Red Berenson. So it's gone from one player in the NHL to 1 in 3 players in the NHL. And that number continues to grow. And it's not just the American player. I mean, more and more high-end Canadians are choosing college hockey, evidence in Cal McCarr and Owen Power. And the number 1 overall pick this year, Macklin Celebrini, a Canadian playing college hockey. So it really is becoming the world's game. We have more Europeans than ever before playing college hockey, and it makes it for an exciting brand.
And then finally, some of the players who are coming out of high school and going into college, what kind of advice would you give the families of those players who are looking to make that next step?
So typically, they're going to play their junior hockey and then take that step to NCAA Division I. One thing I'll say, I mean, there is no magic pill. There's no special formula to get to the next level. That seems to be the biggest question. I want to get to the next level. What do I have to do to get to the next level? Some of the best advice I ever got, I was an assistant at Western Michigan University, and Jeff Blashill was the head coach at the time. Jeff went on to coach in the NHL, obviously. But he used to tell the players, hold on, you can't focus on your next job until you do a great job where you're at. So if you're a young player, you're interested in college hockey, it's important to have goals and look down the road, but it's important to focus on where you're at now. If you're one of the better players on the ice, you're doing the right things off the ice, you'll have an opportunity at that next level. And that holds true all the way to the NHL, right? You have always got to be one of the better players on the ice, doing the right things off the ice. There's no special team, no special formula, no special summer showcase you have to go to. You just need to continue to work hard.
There you go. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this, Sean. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate doing it.
Thanks.